Welcome back to one of my favorite sports podcasts, Frizz and the Grizz, with your host Trudeau and my guy, the Frizzy Frizz.
Hello and welcome back to Frizz and the Grizz. It's your boy Trudeau. Thank you for joining us live Monday, April 28th. If you're not watching us live, check us out live every Monday, 8 o'clock. Find us on Twitch. Go to Twitch, search at @dfrizzy_Frizz5, or listen to us on podcast next day if you're watching live and didn't catch the whole show. Apple, Spotify, all those good places. Great show for you today. We're going to be very, very football and NBA heavy. D almost called an emergency podcast over the weekend over the NBA draft, NFL draft. So we'll get to the reason behind that. But first, D, what it do?
What up? What up? What up? Happy Monday, man. Talk about just busy. I was barely able to get down here and get my notes done. Like I'm still scrambling, but we're here. It's Monday. It's the Monday after the draft, and we had a hell of a weekend with the NBA playoffs. So I'm here to talk some sports, and I'm hoping you're ready for it too.
It was a great weekend in sports, and usually we do a little chit-chatting before we get to the sports. I think we should just cut right into it today, huh?
I'm down for it.
All right, let's do it. And the reason why D almost called an emergency podcast over the weekend is where we start our show. The man, the myth, the legend, Shedeur Sanders, going in the 5th round of the NFL draft. I have done a lot of thinking, a lot of research after the fact to get my opinions and my thoughts straight. D, I want to let you take the floor first on wherever you want to go on this subject, and I kind of want to hear what you have to say.
So I'm glad that I didn't do the emergency pod, right? We need to go live, because it would have been very emotionally charged. And now that the draft is over, where he got selected is done. Now I can sit back and be like, all right, let's get the actual information. Let's get exactly what happened. Reason being is I don't understand where my frustration came. I don't understand where between September of 2024 and January of 2025, literally the college football season, we talked about Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, and then everybody else, right? Those were the 2 top quarterbacks. Dylan Gabriel really wasn't up there. Quinn Ewers was replaced by Archie Manning at some point. Will Howard out in Ohio State, like they talked about how good his team was, not him specifically. So all of these names that, ended up getting drafted this year, it was all based off of non-factors of what they're doing, but what their teams are. The people that were talked about what they're doing was Shedeur and Cam Ward. So when you go from being a top two players essentially for 7 months, and then that time frame between January and here we are in April, you drop to a 5th rounder. That's where I have a problem. Now, the things that I have an issue with is the releasing of information. Whereas after he starts to slip, then we start to hear rumblings of, well, he had a bad interview. Well, he told people he's not going to do this. Well, he also did this in his combine. And it's like, for me, I have no problem with, if that's a problem, bring it up early. The combine was almost 2 months ago. Why are we just now waiting till the day of, while we're all like, why the hell is he dropping, along with other experts? We're not experts, right? You and I, we're not experts with this shit. We just like to talk shit, and we will. But there were people that do this as a job that are like, what the hell is going on? So that's where I'm like, I don't understand the drop. He's on a team. I'm glad he's on a team. We're not even going to go the route of the whole prank call, which was some bullshit. But I'm looking at it where it's like, he has the opportunity now to prove a lot of people wrong, and that's got to be fuel to his fire.
All right, there's so much to unpack from what you said, and we'll do like little bite-size portions. I will start with the why are we hearing this during the draft, after the draft, all this information. Why haven't we heard this prior? A couple things go into that. Number one, I think teams almost did him a solid by not saying anything before the draft, because I know for a fact the Giants had a horrendous meeting with him and interview with him. If they go out and start slandering the man, like, that's not doing him any favor. Like, they're going to give him a chance to meet with every team individually. The second thing that I've heard is, in the past, his dad, Deion Sanders, has specifically called out media members who talk poorly of Colorado and Colorado players. There was a bit of a worry about backlash if people started to speak negatively of Shedeur. I know Todd McShay personally received backlash from Deion basically saying that he doesn't believe Shedeur is a first round draft pick. Like that was his analysis, and he got Dion went after him. So like there was probably some hesitancy in the media to start saying these things, and then this kind of does circle back to your first question. Why in September were we saying Shedeur Sanders is a top 5 NFL draft pick, or maybe number 1, whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Where did this hype come from, D?
If you're gonna say it came from Dion,
It came from Dion himself
mm-hmm.
saying that we're going to go 1 and 2, as in Shedeur and Travis Hunter in the draft.
Yeah.
It came from a lot of hype in the media because like it's a fun story. Like we can put that on First Take, we can put that on Get Up. Like we can talk about a name we know.
Mm-hmm.
And number 3, like not to call out Colorado fans, but like a lot of people became fans of college football when Colorado became good without knowing the landscape of college football.
I know you got more points. I'm only gonna talk on that one. I disagree wholeheartedly because there were more people that were watching Colorado, which brought more eyes for people to hate Colorado. I don't think there were more people
I
praising how he was playing or how the team was. There were more people talking about how they only won 5 games his junior year than people
It
that were
was
praising
divisive.
them for winning 9 the
Don't get me
next.
wrong, it was divisive, but I'm saying
Yeah.
there's a lot of people who were casuals
Yep.
who jumped on like the college football bandwagon because of Colorado. So like my whole point is that there's a lot of hype behind this thing, the
Fair.
Shedeur thing. Once they started, like once the season goes and progresses and ends, all right, it's NFL time. Like we need to have all hands on deck scouting. I told you leading up into the draft, like I've heard Shedeur is going to be slipping like to the bottom of the first round. That was my feeling things. And you were like, you're crazy, dog. The grade, what I've heard, if what he's been graded by NFL scouts is a low end starter backup guy. So like his NFL grade was probably more around this mid second round, which again he was drafted in the 5th, and we can get to that in a moment. But like his actual grade based on his talents and what they evaluate was like a second round, late second round, mid second round pick.
Mm-hmm.
We can talk more into like how do we got to 5th after that, but that's just kind of I want to set the table of like this is what the expectation should have been going from get go, and this is probably a pieces why we had so much hype like going into the college football season.
Okay.
I can keep going. I just didn't want to like.
Yeah, no, you're good. So like, I don't know if we're gonna like agree. You know what I'm saying?
Those
Yeah.
statements.
Well,
You
yeah.
go ahead.
Well, I just see it as when people talk about grades, right? And this class for quarterback, you are 100% right. It's much weaker than last year's, and it's even going to be it's weaker than the projected next year's.
Oh,
This class, yeah, this class was very bad quarterback wise. The problem that I have is you're saying grades, right?
Yeah.
A 6'2" pocket passing mobile. He's not athletic. We'll say athletic. Maybe not mobile. He's not a scrambler. A 6'2", 6'3" pocket passing athletic quarterback that can throw the ball, according to stats, the most accurate in the history of college football.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing in my mind that would make me think teams that needed a quarterback could drop his grade low for other people that were drafted before him. And we'll talk about one of the teams that did it later, but there's no way that, and people will bring in, well, it's the sideshow that it comes along with it. Cool, because I have plenty of names that I could talk about the sideshow that comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
And when you drop his grade saying that he's not elite at anything, he's just average or good at everything.
It wasn't quite that. It was
Okay.
more of like so pros for Shedeur and his skill set. Like he seemed to make good decisions.
Very good at decision
which is
making. Yes.
important. He is accurate, right? Those are pros, and he does have like a okay pocket presence. Like I wouldn't put it as like elite, but like it's decent for a college quarterback,
Right?
So, and those are all things that I think scouts looked at and said, those are the skills that if they're raw and those are the weaknesses, those are things we can coach up and improve. Some of the things that they were less than thrilled about was the arm strength, which again you can't coach a more zip on the ball, like better.
Mhm.
That's
I
just
love arm strength when it comes to
I know that's just like
quarterbacks.
I mean they want to evaluate that way.
Right.
Another knock is that he took a ton of sacks. And you're going to say this. You're going to say well he had a bad offensive line, which is true, but the book on him is that his interception rate was extremely low because he instead of making the throws under pressure would choose to just basically eat
Take
the
a sack.
play. Yeah, which is like those aren't great things. And then finally, and we'll talk about this when we talk about Shedeur meeting with teams, they felt as though he was not good at digesting like new schemes, new plays, like installs more or less. And that was something that was stood out big time when he met with teams.
Mhm.
So like
So my bad.
again, like with all those things being said, is that the worst case scenario for a quarterback coming into your building? No, absolutely not. Again, he was graded as a low end starter, backup range guy, which again, like that's fine. But the problem becomes when you have all the other things that go along with it. And I'm not specifically saying the quote unquote circus, because that's like the fancy buzzword that you're going to see on ESPN. It's not the circus. I think the quote unquote circus needs to be broken down and digested into what actually is going on.
And one of the talking heads today said it perfect. I think it was Lewis Riddick. I like Riddick. I think he talks pretty good and very professional, eloquent as well. He talked about that word being thrown out there, the circus that comes with the Sanders family. And he was like, I don't understand why people are making it seem like Deion Sanders, just because of who he is, can just walk into the facility. He can't. He's got to have the same credentials that anybody else has. He doesn't have direct access to the quarterback of the team like he does when he's in Colorado. He has to go through the same process that everybody else does. And when Shedeur Sanders is removed from his father being his coach, not being able to learn schemes, so on and so forth, and he goes into a professional atmosphere,
Right.
he's got to become a grown man, and that's what you should be making his decisions based off of, not thinking that, well, he brings his whole entourage with him. This is the NFL. This is not college.
I hear you. And that is a great point. Like you remove him from the environment of Colorado, he becomes his own man and a professional in that aspect. But this is where it gets bad. Again, so like he's graded as a mid-second round draft pick. From what I've gathered from Intel, right? This is sourced, and I'll give you one example. The New
Mhm.
York Giants. The New York Giants met with Shedeur Sanders and wanted to pick his brain, like maybe this will be our guy. Because they went with Jackson Dart. They obviously wanted a quarterback. They bring him in. The meeting lasted 5 minutes between Shedeur Sanders and the New York
I heard it was
Giants.
very short. Yeah.
What happened was, and this is very typical of meetings with quarterbacks, is the first thing they do is like they have already tape cut up with mistakes, like things you did wrong, and they want to talk to you like, hey, what happened here, what were you thinking, like, who messed up here, like whatever, yada yada yada. So they want to see accountability, they want to see learning, they want to see growth, they want to see like, can this guy be coached?
Mm-hmm.
My understanding is that Shedeur met with Dayball, the head coach of the Giants, and the first play that they showed, Shedeur basically threw it off. That's not on me, that wasn't on me, coach, that's not my fault. And it was like pretty clear in the film, like he made a bad read, but he wouldn't own up to it. And him and Dayball went back and forth, and it got contentious where like he started getting mad at Dayball for like calling him out on mistakes that he made. And then Dayball was getting back. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, this is not like this happened in a couple meetings. Like
Mm-hmm.
he was very combative about mistakes. And the whole aura of Shedeur Sanders is, I think he had a mantra on draft night. What was it? Legendary, right?
Yep.
Like he wants to be like, he's been molded his whole life in this Deion Sanders mold of like, Deion's one of the greatest players of all time. Yes. And Deion has absolutely earned every ounce of, I don't know, flamboyance and swag that he has.
Yeah, I'd say the swag word.
Yeah. I was trying to
Aura? Is that what the kids use nowadays? Aura? I
Deion
think that's the word.
earned all of that aura. And while you say when you remove Shedeur from the Colorado Deion situation,
Mm-hmm.
he will become a professional. It seems like that aura of Deion Sanders has already been imprinted on Shedeur as far as like, I'm awesome. And it does make me question, has this man ever been given accurate criticism. Because this whole time, even with Colorado, Dion would protect him, and Shedeur was able to, and you saw it in post game, like throw his teammates under the bus. So, like, has this man ever accepted accountability and like shown the ability to grow from his mistakes and be a leader? And from my understanding, is like, again, we're talking about a guy who teams think is a backup to a low end starter. If your backup's going to have that attitude, like that's not that's not what you want in a backup quarterback. You want someone who's going to come and be humble, team player, all this stuff. So teams are like, you're not good enough to be like this. Like, why are you acting like this, dude? Like, we don't even know if we can coach you because you're going to come in with flaws. And are you going to even want to correct some of these flaws? If you're fighting with us over mistakes that we're showing you on film, like with your eyes, like how do we think we're going to take you and make you the best version you can be? Now, I will say, and I want you to get in here in a second.
Mm-hmm.
I almost think what happened to him in the draft night going in the 5th round might be the best thing that could have happened to him. Because if he does get drafted late into the first, does he ever change his ways?
Maybe
like,
not.
I'm hoping this is, and I'm rooting for him now. I'm hoping that this is a wake-up call and a humbling moment where it makes him hungry and makes him shed off all of that crap from Colorado and become his own man, his own quarterback.
So a lot of good points that you laid out for this. And I have no problem acknowledging that if he went into these interviews and was acting like that, this is a job interview. So,
And
like, I get that. Go ahead, yeah.
Specifically told some teams he wasn't interested. Like, he wouldn't
Yeah.
meet them. Like, that's just, come on, man.
You're right, and I'm with you. We also have to remember who has been drafted in the past where this type of stuff didn't matter. That's where I have the bigger problem.
You're going to name excellent players.
Am I going to, though?
Cam Newton? Cam Newton was much worse.
Yes, Cam Newton was absolutely. I wasn't even going to name him, but yes, you're right. And he was a unicorn. Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not even going to name him. There is a guy that is shorter, had less arm strength, if not bigger personality, probably the biggest personality in the history of college sports, called John Manziel. And he was a first-round quarterback by the Browns. So still a bad organization. I'm not saying that he can't learn from his ways and he didn't screw up the interviews, because he did. From what I'm hearing, I'm agreeing with you on that part. I'm saying there have been times where that stuff is pushed aside and people go, but yeah, I still like him as a player. Doesn't even need to be a quarterback. There are people that have been taken. We don't even need to go too far down south. But
there's a player that was drafted just this year in the 2nd round who has 2 pending sexual assault.
Thank you. We are talking about people that have felony charges. I love the running back. I love what he's done since he's gotten to the league. Joe Mixon was on film beating the shit out of a female in a restaurant, dragging her through the restaurant, and he got drafted in the first 5 rounds. Like, that's where I have a problem, where if you're upset with him because of him being cocky, because he flashes his wrist, because he does all of the things that you probably don't want from a quarterback, I get it. But this notion of, like, I won't even say let's make an example, but nah, his talent is okay, but his grading is less because of what he brings. It's like, there have been far worse players just in the last 5 years. We don't even need to go back 10, 20, 15 Coke era days. We don't even have to go back that far. Just in the last 5 years, we have had worse personalities.
Oh yeah.
So I get the interview process. This is a job. I'm for an NFL football player like not me being an NFL, but like for a football player like myself, I understand this is a job interview. But we pick and choose when to use this as an interview versus when we use it as, can this guy play football? And the answer to that question is yes. He can play football and he can play quarterback better than a lot of the other players that were selected.
Again, like, you make good points about other guys. Because believe me, there's a litany of people that came into the league with huge issues. There are people who've been in the league who have got second chances and they've like
third
domestic domestic violence.
We were talking about Greg Hardy or no?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of, Greg Hardy.
Yeah, like the man threw a female on
And
AKs and AR-15s. Like, what are we doing?
I'm not disagreeing. Like, I've watched football for long enough in professional sports, and it's probably the most pervasive in football that teams will look the other way if you are good enough. Like, they try to sell you on morality in football. There's no morality in football. If you're good enough, you will have a home.
Yes.
But it comes down to the expression, and I'm sure you're familiar with the expression. If you're not, let me know. Is the juice worth the squeeze?
We all seen The Girl Next Door. It's a great movie.
And the thing with Shedeur is that if he was graded as a top 5 pick, teams would look the other way and draft him because he's just that damn good, right? And they might actually even like it. They're like, this dude's nice. He's cocky. He's the best prospect in the draft. Like, he's talking his shit. We love it. That's a competitor. They'll make up excuses why it's okay. But again, teams did not view him on tape as that type of quarterback and that type of prospect. So once it becomes questionable what your skill level is, especially at the quarterback position, because again, like I said, if you're graded as a backup running back, you're still getting burned. If you're the backup quarterback, you have to be the most happiest, nicest guy in the team to just get along with everybody, because like your job basically is to not ruffle feathers. And that is why he didn't even get chances as a backup on like a team that has a stable quarterback, because they don't want to deal with like someone who thinks they're better than their starting quarterback.
Yeah, and to put a bow on this, look, I can only go as far as what a man can say, right? And he's online saying this is a learning experience. I could have done things better. Taking accountability, the thing that people said he doesn't do, but it's weird how like he can acknowledge that he can take accountability. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're talking like he's not, but he can. But he brought it up. He has it online saying, look, I could have done things better. So this is where,
First step.
yeah, exactly. This is where it's like, all right, now you have the momentum that I believe you can be a good to great quarterback. I'm not saying he's elite. I'm not going that route. I think he is a starting quarterback in the NFL. How much success we'll see, that really depends on atmosphere for every single person in the NFL. But I think he's a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, and I think the public's opinion has largely shifted on Shedeur Sanders. Maybe I'm just being hyperbolic, but I think more people are now rooting for his success after this story.
Yes.
I did mention like the issue with Dayball and him taking accountability on the mistakes. There was also, it just came to my head, another meeting he had where, and this happens a lot actually in the NFL quarterback evaluations. So typically what they'll do is they'll go through like a mock install. So like when you're a quarterback, you sit down for like Tuesday, your first practice of the week, and they'll do an install of your offense against team X. And you have to basically learn all these new plays and all this stuff on the fly for like, this is what we're going to do this week. During their installs, and this happens a lot with the quarterback prospects, they'll put like bad shit in there sometimes, like try to pepper in like things that are clearly wrong to like see if you'll catch it and point it out. And he went through at least 2 interviews that I've heard that like they peppered it with like landmines, didn't register once, and they questioned like, is this guy going to be a serious professional? Like Jamarcus Russell at all times.
I was just about to say that
man was not committed to the craft, and he failed miserably. And those are things they look for. And you
could see the writing on the wall at LSU.
Yeah,
there was nothing that was questioning his work ethic as a professional quarterback.
And I'm not framing that on Shedeur right now.
Yeah,
I want to say this is my last point. Is I think if there's anyone to blame, and this might be controversial, I don't know, this whole thing is on his father, Dion, because his father. Hear me out. His father gave him bad advice. He's been in his ear for the past year and however long, telling him how great he is, that he's going to be a top 5 pick, and filling him with all these ideas that you are a top 10 draft pick. Like, that's how good you are. And it does not give you the proper perspective, and gives you this arrogance that is unearned, that you can then go into these meetings and act the way you do and eventually tank your draft stock. Like, if someone else was in his ear telling him, no, you got to like go in and earn it. Like you're not a lock anywhere. Like you have to like go in and ace everything and take everything seriously and take meetings from everyone and grind and this and that and this and that. This could have played out differently. And I don't know if you disagree with that sentiment, but like I just think who was the quarterback from Tennessee who got bad advice and went
Nico.
Nigo.
Iamaleava. Yep.
He had the wrong people in his ear and he thought he had something he didn't have. And I feel like that might be the same scenario with Shedeur and Dion, where like I just wish someone kept it real with this dude and got him more prepared to like be successful in this draft process.
To put a bow on it, like you said, that was your last point. Agree to disagree,
Fair.
but I don't want. There's no need for to go down a rabbit hole on something like that.
All right, let's talk more draft because we're talking about a 5th round draft pick. We have a whole
Yeah, seriously,
a whole other draft to get into. We could go like everywhere on the drafts.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get your opinion right off the jump. I think we're both in agreement. The trade, the unexpected trade in the 1st round, top 5, Jaguars going up from 5, jumping to 2 to get Travis Hunter, trading with the Browns. They gave up. Do you remember what they gave up off top?
Let me get you I'll get you the exacts because I sent it over to you.
Yeah, it was a haul. It was a first
the
next year. You got it.
My goodness, sorry, my messages aren't loading from you past Saturday.
Okay. I think it was a first next year, a second this draft that just went by, and there was something else as well. And they also got the 5th pick in the draft. So like they moved down 3 slots to get a second, a future first, and I think maybe like a 4th or something.
Yeah, they did get an extra 4th. Yes.
Wow, I nailed that. Low key, like I don't know if this is a lame take, but kind of a win-win for both sides. Like I liked it for both sides. And I like them more for the Browns. I'll give you that, right? Because the Browns absolutely just need talent on that team. And getting that first pick in next year's draft along with their own does give them the opportunity to double dip on a quarterback if they don't like what they got in this draft. But, they state that on the flip side, this draft we talked about, there are 3 dudes and more so 2 dudes. Like Cam Ward was the best quarterback and like graded as top of the draft quarterback.
Yep.
But outside of quarterback, there were really 2 prospects that were like
dudes.
Yeah, and the Jaguars got one of them. So like shout out to them. There was a price to pay, but they got the dude.
Yeah. 1st, 5th. So they got the 5th pick. They got a 2nd, a 4th, and next year's 1st. Just to get the confirmation for it. I love that the Browns got it. I don't think because of their quarterback situation, they would have had a Ferrari sitting outside of a 1-floor ranch. Like there's just no need for that, right? So I think the ability for them to trade back, get more pieces, I like that. The area that I look and I question is now is the time for Trevor Lawrence. It's make or break now because you are now surrounded by one of the best wide receiving cores in the NFL. You got 2 as a GM, you got 2 players for the price of 1, right? You're going to have them as corner, you're going to have them as wide receiver. So you cannot fail offensively, and you need to find a way to sprinkle him in there defensively because it can't be on the inverse. You can't have him barely on offense and play defense. He has to be offensively oriented to help out Trevor Lawrence become what we wanted him to be, top 5 quarterback, while still having ATN in the backfield and Brian Thomas Jr. out of LSU.
Yeah, the one thing I'd like to ask you, because you played cornerback for a long time, you played at the college level as well. I've heard a lot of discussion, like where's the best place to play Travis Hunter. The Jaguars have went out and said that he's going to be primarily a wide receiver, right? I've heard from football people, like people with I'm not saying you don't have a football mind, but like people who do this, like being professional.
No disrespect.
No disrespect to you. That it would be much easier. This came from like a guy who played cornerback in the NFL for a long time, and much easier to play cornerback primarily and sprinkle 10 plays on offense and The reason being is that the defensive position requires a lot more film study and just like raw feeling. Like you can be told where to be on offense, but like defense is more of like instinct and just seeing plays and look so many times that you just are instinctive on defense. And it might be difficult for someone to do part-time on defense. I was hoping he'd be a primary defender, cornerback, and then get sprinkled in on offense. But like, do you disagree with that approach?
With his skill set that he has, he's as much as everybody loves Travis Hunter, the athlete, he's small. He's still 6 foot. They may list him as 6'1".
180,
Yeah,
185.
he's 180. So
Yeah.
like you gotta you gotta think about these boys in the NFL who he's going up against, right? Tackles, guards, and running backs. It's not just a cover 3, cover 1. Like those days are gone, right? People are going to pass a lot, but you have to understand there's every team most likely has a two-headed monster of some type of 210 or 240-pound running back. And he's got to be able to be out there to make plays, right? Because if they see he's just left side every time, what are you going to do as an offensive coordinator? Toss left, right? Make him have to make a play, or he's just out of the play, right? So I think corner is this isn't just me speaking. I think it's the hardest position to play in the NFL.
It's fucking hard. You're
Yeah,
right.
it's one. I know it's arguably between quarterback and corner. I get that, but he is his way that he plays the ball in the air, that is instinctual. I think he can make up for it without having the film every single day at being on defense, and still be a great wide receiver where they can say, hey, Travis, look, we're just in cover 2 here. We're just in cover 3 here. This is the play that you're going to have somebody over the top of you. This is the play that you're going to be just man to man. They're not going to be scheming for him defensively while he's out there. They just need to have him on certain plays. Hey, it's 3rd and long. Let's throw you out there on the number 1. Take away this guy, because quarterbacks are going to look and go, crap, I got to throw either away from him or force the pass towards him, and he can play the ball. We saw a highlight on him for defense. I think he's a better defender than he is on offense, but I think he plays better in the NFL as a wide receiver. But we saw a clip on draft night. He literally tripped and fell and still picked off the ball. Like, fell on the ground, face was in the dirt, got up, dove, and got an interception. It's like, that's instincts. That's not film study. That's, I know where this ball is going. I'm going to make a play. So I think if you can get him on offense more and then have him find ways to get in on defense, that's the better play for your team versus where it's Colorado. You may need him more offense. You may need him more defensively because that team struggled to stop people on defense.
I just are there any other things? Like I have a couple, but in the first round in general, like anything that really stood out to you want to speak on?
Standouts?
Yeah, let's take
I
one
think,
at a time if you want.
yeah, no, you're good. I think round 1 was pretty chalk when it comes to people that needed needs. I'll give that to a lot of teams that addressed needs in round 1. Round 2 is where it got a little, what's going on here? But I think top of the draft, I think the Patriots I hate giving them fucking praise. The Patriots did a great job getting who they needed. They got a dog in Will Campbell. I think the best tackle. There's people that were graded higher than him because of size. But when it comes to the position and being able to play ball, I think he was the best tackle in this draft. I think they may not like it, but the Panthers got help for Bryce. Ted McMillan is a big wide receiver who can stretch the field, run the entire route tree, and take some relief off of fuck it, Tet's down there somewhere. Like, he might be able to just throw those passes now.
A little fun tidbit on Ted McMillan.
Yeah.
So for wide receiver conversions on 3rd down in the NFL last year, and that means like when you're thrown to on 3rd down, do you convert 3rd down?
Mm-hmm.
The best rated wide receiver they had, the Panthers that is, was 44th. So like this is a team that consistently, when they were in 3rd and pass, could not convert because their wide receivers could not bring in the ball. And I mean, I know we had a love-hate relationship, at least I did, with Bryce Young last year. He showed some promise towards the end of the year, and he was putting balls in the right spot, and they were just getting dropped. So, like, I think that's a great ad. And Ted McMillan actually for that stat, like third round conversions, was I think top 5 in college football last year. So like he is an absolute monster on third down and in the red zone.
He's not a burner, which I don't think Bryce Young needs a Tyreek Hill. I don't know if that team would benefit from a Tyreek Hill build. He's a Marquise Colston while I have Drew
Beautiful.
Brees. Yeah, like I have somebody that it's third and, like you said, third and pass, and he's 6'4", what is he? 6'4", 220.
Yeah.
Get the ball somewhere near him.
Bryce needs, because like he doesn't have like I'm not saying he can't throw deep, doesn't have a cannon, but like he is known for being an accurate precision quarterback, which is perfect for him. The one I do love that for them, but I also scratch my head a little bit because the real need in that Panthers team is their defense is just devoid of talent. Devoid of talent, yeah, devoid of talent. But they cover that up in the later rounds. I didn't want to.
You were talking first round. You literally said first round. I could give you their grade.
Yeah, no, they did well. They did well. I low key liked, and I thought this was chalky as well. But Abdul Carter for the Giants. I know they have they have a ton of needs, but dude, that pass rush with him and Burns and Thibodeau, that's going to be like if they get a team in 3rd and 8, just punt the ball, just punt the ball next year.
So that's how I thought the Browns were going to be. I was like, dude, like Cam's going first. I understand the trade. Like, look, we don't need to take Travis, even though he, he's that good. I thought the Browns were going to go Carter, and you had Garrett and Carter. Like, that would be
scary.
Miserable. Yeah.
They had a D-tackle. I don't know much about Mason Graham, the defensive tackle they drafted in the 5th slot, but they added some help to go alongside.
Yeah, Michigan, that he was on the team when they went on their national championship run. A lot of pressure up the middle. It's good to have a strong D tackle. You taking him in the top 5, he's got to give you Haloti Nada stats. You know what I'm saying? I think people were giving him comparisons to Aaron Donald. So it's like, if you can come out of college and get compared to from an Aaron Donald standpoint, sure. You know what I'm saying? Like you can make plays. And it doesn't always have to be a sack. Like defensive tackle is the thankless position and the most thankless position in football. You literally are just there to free up your linebackers. So like if you're able to fill A gaps, B gaps, and still make plays, yeah, the Browns did good. I think they had a good draft, and for where they were drafting position wise, nothing wrong with taking Graham at that spot.
A couple of head scratches I had was the Falcons trading up for Jalen Walker. Like he's a good player, but what they gave up to move up that, like what they move up like 7 slots. They gave up like I think a second or future first next year and something else. I don't know if the Falcons realize they're not a good team. Like that future first could be a top 10 pick.
Not only that, so the NFC South struggled in round 1. And this is my banner is right there. Oh, sorry, you can't see it right now. My banner is right there. I don't know what the hell the Saints were doing in round 1. I have no idea why they are drafting an injury-prone left tackle without a quarterback. That decision made no sense. So yes, the fact that the Falcons are also doing dumb things, picking up a D end that you didn't need to trade up for, bad decision making. The guy that drafted, what's his name, Michael Penix last year, and he had to I said that to you. I was like, he's still there, like he's in the war room, and then they did this. I'm like, dude, he's got to get fired. Like, you can't be like every year. There can't be a video of you explaining to Arthur.
If they don't win the division this year, then he has to get fired.
100%. And I'll let you take the floor with
this. Keep it in the division because my other head scratcher, and
that's what I was gonna say.
Were the Bucks. So like, I went in the draft as a Bucks fan. We had a top 5 offense last year. The offense was not the problem. The defense was just horrendous, especially in the back end. The secondary was rough, and we could use a little help at pass rush at the edge. They go out and pick 19, get a Egbuka. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his last name right.
It's not an easy one, yeah.
They draft a wide receiver, the Bucks, at 19. That was one position I looked at my team personally and be like, we're good at wide receiver, right? We have Godwin, we have Mike Evans, we have McMillan who came on strong last year. We have a couple other guys that like showed promise. But after hearing some reasoning about what they were thinking potentially, they look at their wide receiver core, the Buccaneers, and say this: Godwin's coming back from a horrific injury. Like we don't know what he's going to look like. We did pay him; we have him for 3 years, but like, what is he going to look like this year, next year, in the future? Evans, while like he is the franchise's best wide receiver of all time,
Statistic. Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to think. Like we had the guy who played for the Jets too. The
Joey
wide receiver.
Galloway.
That was another guy. It's eluding me. He did Get Up for a while. Does the ESPN shows? I'm getting a little caught up. Anyways, we had Mike Evans, but Mike Evans' contract low key is like up next year.
Mm-hmm.
So are they going to re-sign Mike Evans? Can they afford it? McMillan, he had a great second half, but he was a third round draft pick. So like while the Bucks wide receiver core looks on paper really strong now, going into next year, like there are a lot of question marks next year and beyond. So it does make sense a little bit if you want to go down those routes. And then the Bucks in round 2 and 3, and we're not talking about the yet, but they went cornerback. So like, and then edge in the 4th round. So like they did address those needs later. But I did think it was a little bit of reach and it was like more of a luxury position grab.
The only reason why, I won't say only, but one of the reasons why I don't like that pick at that time is because there were still wide receivers after, and this is what's the guy that got drafted for the Patriots? Everybody, N'Keal Harry. It's like one of those types of deals where it's like, are you going to look back at this draft and go, wow, we could have had Matthew Golden, who was the fastest wide receiver out of Texas, Jaden Higgins, who's a great wide receiver out of Iowa State, and Luther Burden. Like, are you going to look back and be like, we got the worst out of those 4? You know what I'm saying? If you do, tough, right? Especially when you're saying it's a position that you may not need immediately.
It's a luxury buy.
Yeah, like you're going to need one based off of, like you said, the injury to Godwin, McMillan being younger, still not a first round talent, and then Evans' contract. So like, yeah, you could have addressed wide receiver at some point.
Yeah.
I just don't think you needed to address it at top 20. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the area of the word reach.
Yeah, I shout out to the Eagles doing the Eagles thing again.
Oh my goodness.
Just basically sitting back and waiting for some talent to fall to them. They get Jihad Campbell, who I think was graded before his injury as like a top 10 pick. And the thing with Campbell that I've heard is that he doesn't fit everyone's scheme perfectly. However,
he plays for Alabama. I don't give a damn about what people think with scheme. Go ahead.
The way he plays and what scheme would fit him perfectly, Jihad Campbell, is his comp is Braun, the linebacker they just lost.
Oh, okay.
I forgot.
Ryan Braun. No,
Ryan Braun.
I think it's Ryan Braun, not Brian Braun, who's the baseball player.
Yeah. So like they got a guy at a steal late in the draft who fits what they do perfectly. So shout out to the Eagles just doing the Eagles things.
So the and it's annoying, but it's not even a problem.
The thing is, the one last thing is like the reason why he fell is because he's not going to be available for like half the season.
You're taking my points. So
go ahead.
The Eagles, the reason why they are successful in the draft is because they find people a year before other people needed to use them. Meaning this guy doesn't need to be a factor until the latter half of the season. Andrew Makuba, Ty Robinson, and Mac Robinson, all of these defensive players, they're just going to sit and wait their turn until it's time for them to eat, because the people ahead of them are nasty. Cooper DeJean, everybody on the defensive line, and their linebackers are nasty. So what are you going to get when your rookie plugs in there? Somebody that is like, this is my chance. This is my opportunity. I can't miss it because I'll never get it again. And the Eagles look back and go, cool, we got somebody that's ready to run through a fucking wall. I hope you guys can stop him because we've been holding him on a leash for the last 7 weeks.
Well, the thing too is like not every team has that luxury. Because like, all right, we look at the draft, what happened before that, and we talked about the Falcons drafting Jalen Walker, right? They need someone to play right now.
Yeah.
They cannot wait.
Whether he's ready or not. He's week 1. You're in there.
The Eagles are so stacked roster-wise that they're like, great, this dude fell to us. He's not going to play until week 10. That's cool. We're good. We have so much talent. Like we can wait it out. Not everyone can do that.
They did it right. They did it right because they built their team. Other than A.J. Brown, who was a trade 5 years ago, it feels like, they built their team through the draft. They don't trade. They just build through pick after pick after pick.
The last question I want to throw to you is, Ashton Genty, and we both were interested in him and seeing where he would land because I know you're a big Genty fan. I'm still like skeptical just because he played at Boise. I want to see what he does in the pros. He ended up with the Raiders. How do you feel about him going to that team in particular and his chance of success with that team?
Love the pick as in the player. Don't care for the landing spot. Reason being is I know they got Geno. You got to be thinking, what is it that's going to help us be successful? I don't know if the number 6 pick running back is going to elevate the offense that much. I love Ashton Genty as a running back. But on this team, I think that there's more areas that needed to be addressed than a running back, especially when they went a little bit later. They had to trade up to get a wide receiver. Beck is not bad. A TCU player. I think he's a much bigger build. 6'1", 220. Like big wide receiver. Not bad. Another target for Geno. But running back in that spot, you can't miss, right? Genty's got to be the workhorse. It can't be split with him and White.
Well, it's going to be fun from this vantage point is him and Brock Bowers on an offense together for the next 4 or 5 years. That should be fun. And they have a capable quarterback. They obviously will have to find a replacement down the line, but they have 2 foundational offensive pieces now, and that's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I like the young and dumb. I'm not mad at it. Like I said, it's just one of those, I hope this works out at the end of the day.
I would have loved a team like, could you imagine if somehow the Broncos could trade up and get Genty?
That's what I'm surprised Ty, he's not in here. That's what he was like. We need to go get Genty. Like just zone read every single play, him and Bo.
Or the Chargers did draft a running back in the first round who's very good. If the Chargers, a team like that got Genty, the team that has a stacked offensive line that wants to pound the ball, oh God.
So, I mean, this is the year of you got to do something. You got to show me. Like, we said this about Trevor Lawrence. Herbert is the same way. They gave him pieces. They were like, well, look, we need somebody to help us. Quentin Johnston is not that guy. I'm sorry. He's not the wide receiver. So they went out and got Trey Harris. Yeah, Broncos. I'm glad that Zay's in here. Trey Harris is a beast, right? Ole Miss player, would take the top off the defense in the SEC. Omarion Hampton is I won't say Genty-like because he's bigger, but that boy can ball. He's a bruising back. So like if you who's the running back that helped out last year with the Chargers?
We had J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards.
Okay, J.K. I think Dobbins was good until he got hurt. No, it was somebody else. So I'm thinking of somebody else. Either way, Marion Hampton is a great running back, and they got Trey Harris. So it's like they are giving these guys these show me something quarterbacks, the pieces that they need to be successful. You got to do something with it this year.
I don't disagree, especially with they're not going to move away from Herbert this early.
No.
Next year's quarterback class. There'll be a couple more in the future too, especially with Arch Manning in a couple of years. I don't know what year Arch Manning is.
Next year.
Yeah. So like
he's going to leave as a junior. He's not going to stay as a senior. I got one more team because I know if we're going to try to talk basketball, we can.
I know I knew this was going to happen with NFL talk.
It happens all the time. People might not like it. I thought the Bears had a hell of a draft. I think you're giving Caleb what he needs. One of the best tight ends, Clover Loveland, right? I know he's in Michigan. He's a receiving tight end, but he could block his ass off. So you give him a big body security blanket. You got Luther Burden to help out that wide receiver core, right? Another really, really good, wide receiver. And you got another offensive tackle. 1, 2, and 3. These are the things that you look at and go, look, Caleb, stay within the offense. Give the ball to your playmakers and let them make plays. So I think the Bears.
I love the Bears. I'm with you.
Yeah, I think first 3 picks, boom, boom, boom. I think those are what's going to help. Who's coach now? Dude from Detroit. I never get names right.
Oh man,
you know what I'm talking about. The offensive coordinator that was for the Detroit Lions is
Ben
now
Johnson. Ben Johnson.
Thank you, Ben Johnson. He can take what he had with. We saw the most accurate quarterback in the NFL. Let's see if he can help that with Caleb. And now he's got pieces to throw to, a security blanket over the middle, and a big-ass offensive lineman.
In this day in NFL, right, when there is no rookie, where there's a rookie cap, right? You have to make your decision on the quarterback early, and not like it's crazy. People thought Caleb Williams would be like the next great thing, and his first year was not great. They're setting it up for him like this. You have to be successful now, my friend. Like we thought he was going to walk in his rookie year to the best situation a rookie has ever came into, and it was damn near close to it, if not the best situation. They went tight end, wide receiver, offensive tackle, first 3 picks. They are setting him up for success. And I think this is a theme around the NFL this year, like you said, where we're giving these quarterbacks what they need to succeed. And if you can't do it at this point, buddy,
gotta get out of there.
And I think, I know we don't love to praise the Patriots, but like the Patriots did exactly that. Their first 4 picks, offensive tackle, running back, wide receiver, center. They are putting they made it a priority with their first 4 picks to put the best pieces around Drake May that they could. Because they want to see, like, is this our guy for the next 10 years? Because you have to make the decision before it's time to pay up.
Very true. Yeah, we already talked about them having a good draft. Yeah, I thought it was a real, outside of the whole mess with the Browns, which we didn't even talk about. I don't even know if they're considered a winner or a loser. Like, to tell you the truth, even though they had the whole shit go down with them, they're kind of still set up for now and the future. Like they got Mason Graham, they got a decent linebacker, which is great. They got Quinshon Judkins, who's a really good running back. And now your quarterback room has 5 quarterbacks. But if they all suck, they have the chance to be in the top 5 next year.
Spot.
Yeah, like they're in a like.
Let's be honest. If you're the Browns, right?
It's so strange.
Joe Flacco's not the future, so you're down to 3 guys.
Yeah.
Kenny Pickett, Shedeur Sanders.
Watson is never playing for the Browns.
Sean's not part of that. So Kenny Pickett, Shedeur Sanders, and
Dylan Gabriel.
So like you have a year to evaluate these 3 guys, and they didn't pay much draft capital to get the 2 draft picks this year. So again, it's a great spot to be in because if you're the Browns and you suck, you're going to get a great quarterback next year. I just want to shout out one quarterback actually that I heard more about after the draft. You were a little livid when you texted me this weekend about Jalen. Jalen Milroe going in the 3rd round ahead of Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah,
and we know Jalen Milroe, like he has clear deficiencies from Alabama. I mean, the guy could probably play NFL running back. He's that good toting the ball, but throwing he has issues. I heard a story. We talked about Shedeur and how he bombed interviews. Jalen Milroe, that man shows up to the interview with the Seahawks. And they ask him, like, all right, like, do you have time to review? Like, we want to review, like, your mistakes. Like, we have the tape cut up and we want to talk about it. And my man just says, shit, how much time do you got? And Jalen Milroe, like, just owned every bit of it, every mistake, went through it, explained everything, took onus on everything. And he actually called out, like, what he learned from everything. And he actually called out, like, oh, yeah, I've been working on X, Y, and Z to correct that from the offseason. I've been working on this to correct that. Like, professional, a guy who clearly understands, like, it's not an indictment to make mistakes. It's like a learning experience. And that man, from what I've heard, that man legitimately wants to be a great quarterback. And I like that for him.
Well, he's a Saban guy. So give credit where credit is due. He was recruited by Saban, and then what's his name from Washington took over. Is ruining the school, but whatever. But yeah, when my dislike for Jalen Milroe has nothing to do with his personality. The man wanted to win Heisman. Like, I like that. He's just as cocky. Where's my give me that motherfucker is what he said. Like, I want that. Like, he went out and beat LSU on the ground. Like, he ran for 4 touchdowns, didn't throw a single passing touchdown, but he whooped our ass on the ground. So like, I respect his game. I just looked at it as this quarterback got drafted before Shedeur. But his spot that he's in, hey, man, Seattle, they're going to find a way to get him on the field.
He'll get packages.
He's going to get on the field, and then people are going to go, can we Lamar this?
I got a better comp for you.
Oh, go ahead.
Do you remember when a certain team signed, oh, man, what was his name? The Seahawks signed a certain player, and then they drafted a guy in the 3rd round?
Oh, you're talking about Russell Wilson?
Yeah, but they signed Matt Flynn.
Yeah.
And then they drafted Russell Wilson in the 3rd round, and we all know the history of that.
Right. Okay. No, the situation, sure. I'm talking about playing. Like, him. Yes, that happens all the time now. But this quarterback himself, I'm like, look, he's a 3rd round pick. Jackson Smith and Jigba, they just shipped out DK. It's not a rebuild, but it's like, we may actually find some need to throw him in week 6. And then the crowd goes, we like what we saw, keep him out there. And then week 8, because the starter does something week 7 that they go, we punted on this season. He goes out there in week 8, and you're like, wow, we actually might have something because he's been in the back, not being the starting quarterback for the last 8 weeks if you count preseason, and now he can show you something. So I'm not saying he's an NFL starter right now, but he's gonna have whoever goes out there looking over their shoulders.
We 56 minutes in of draft talk. I knew that was going to happen. I love it though.
Not a chance we were going to get to the NBA on time.
All right, we'll talk a little NBA and get out of here.
Yep. Oh, it's Sammy D.
Sam Darnold's
I forgot it was Sam Darnold. Yeah, he's cooked. He's so screwed.
Bill Rose coming for you, Sam Darnold. He's going to see ghosts.
Not only did he blew his chance for millions of dollars because of those last 2 games, but then they went and drafted a quarterback in round 3. Ugh. Good luck.
High ceiling.
Oh yeah, that he may have the highest ceiling.
Yeah.
In this draft because he's such a raw.
The funny thing is, like, and I know we won't talk NBA, but they drafted who did the Colts went out and drafted
a tight end?
Who did they draft last year? Do you help me out?
Oh, Anthony Richardson.
I don't know why I'm drawing a blank.
You're
Anthony
fine.
Richardson's because Anthony Richardson had like the most amazing physicals.
He could throw the ball in 80 yards.
And cool. Milroe's kind of like the same guy as far as like the wild physicals, but just not a great quarterback. But they drafted Milroe in the 3rd round, and Anthony Richardson went in the top 4 pick. That's
top
insane.
5. Yeah, that's the NFL for you, though.
So speaking of insane, I would not have guessed. We met last Monday. I would not have guessed that we'd be talking here again today on Monday, and my Orlando Magic would have the same series record as your 3-seed LA Lakers. But here we are, D.
So you were right. I'll admit it. The rescinded trade. You were right. I'll admit it. The rescinded trade to not bring in the Williams kid, Mark Williams, I think it was, from Charlotte, is hurting this Lakers team. I wanted to believe in. I'm not saying the series is over. I can't do that. I wanted to believe in Jackson Hayes, Vanderbilt, and anybody else that they could potentially have to do their best in the paint. And Anthony Edwards said, I'm going to eat. That boy is going after everyone that tries to step up, anyone that they're rotating in the pick and roll. Anthony Edwards is saying, I don't care who's down there. You're getting dunked on. He's not dunking on everybody, but you get what I'm saying. So the interior defense, although they have wing defenders, is fine. They're not struggling covering Naz Reid, Jaden McDaniels. Like, he's not like eating. He has a couple of good games, but he's not like out there eating. Ant Edwards is killing them in the paint. And this just happened to be, you built this team to be perimeter defense.
So small.
You happen to match up against a team that wants to score on the interior. It's all about matchups in the NBA, and they have the worst matchup. I didn't see 3-1 this way, but here we are.
Yeah, and I don't want to like besmirch Luka, but as Nico Harris said, defense wins championships. And so Luka is not a good defender.
No, he's not. But and this is your boy, Windy, right? And I 100% agree with him. He had better defenders behind him. In the regular season, there was something that I texted you, and I was like, yo, they're playing like a box and one, like a similar zone where like they're just passing along. Luka's not going to be able to just lock you up. That's not the way he plays. He's an offensively gifted point guard. But towards the end of the season, what they were doing is they were able to have him shade and pass him along to the interior. They can't do that right now. You also want to know why? Because this isn't even a shot, but this is just, it is what it is. You have a 40-year-old power forward that's also a small forward. Somebody that should be helping the interior. He's blocked by James. Yeah, it's cool when we get it on fast breaks, but like we need that help in the half court.
They're so
Yeah,
smart.
and it's just not. It's not
You thought
fair.
you had something in Jackson Hayes. I told you that was the
You know, like I said, let me drink the Kool-Aid and think that
yeah.
my team is good. Like I'm not gonna say, oh, they suck. I'm not even saying that now. They're just
Going
under.
against other teams as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah.
But number one, JJ Redick's the absolute madman,
He's going
playing
nuts.
all 5 starters 24 minutes in the second half last night
He's
against
going. Hey,
against the
they needed to get the win and they just couldn't get it. They got burnt out because of it though.
yeah, because you have a 40-year-old playing power forward as well, playing 24 minutes in the second half. I mean, it's insane. I do think they end up by losing the series.
Yeah,
I hate to break it to you. Maybe they
that's not groundbreaking, my
yeah,
friend. I've
they might win
accepted it.
another game, but it's gonna be tough to come back.
Hmm.
Going forward, though, man, they have a lot of soul searching to do, and I think it's gonna be difficult. And hear me out on this one. The issue with the Lakers is gonna be LeBron James
Yes.
because if he decides not to retire at the end of the year and not take a pay cut, you have a 41-year-old making max money. You have
55.
Luka making max money.
55.
It's going to be really hard to build out this roster. Like they are losing to the Timberwolves because not because of their 2 best players, which the best player in the series has been Ant Edwards. Shout out to him. But because the Timberwolves are actually solidly 7 deep, 8 deep, maybe. The Lakers have no depth, man. And I don't know what the answer is here. Like you can say, oh, go sign people. But like if you're gonna pay LeBron $55 million, what are you gonna be able to do?
Yeah.
Like, no, it would be kind of dope, and I don't know. I don't want to talk about LeBron's bag. My man's made millions of dollars.
Yes.
He's probably
He's a
worth
billionaire. He's
he's a
literally a
billion
billionaire.
if it's his last season, which I'm guessing like next year is his last season.
And if NBA won't allow it.
What is wrong with him just playing for the minimum and being like, let's just run it back one more time? Because I would think that would get so much respect from the fans. If he just wants one more run, I'll play for $2 million. Like, let's add to this roster and let's do this thing.
I don't think the NBA can allow you to do that. I could be wrong. You know more cap
No
situations
one's ever
than I
done
do.
that though.
Right. But I don't know if the NBA PA will allow that to happen. Like I just don't think. I could be completely
If he
wrong
doesn't do
because
that, if he takes the max money, it's over. Like it's
yeah. I mean, well, you got to think this is the Brady effect, right? Like how are the Patriots able to compete year after year after year? How are the Chiefs able to compete year after year after year? Because their quarterbacks won championships early in their career, which made them not have to get paid later in their career. You could use and disperse that money everywhere else because quarterbacks are either going to get paid because they need to be great or they need to win a championship. Once you win the championship, you don't need to pay great, right? It just works that simple. LeBron is 47 years old. You cannot have 50% of your
47 years old. He's
I
not
know.
47.
I knew Gavin adding his age, but you can't have 33% of your more than that. 45% of your salary tied into 2 players. It's just not a. It's not a. They built this team to
You
play
can't
the
do
Celtics.
it. You can do it if they're like the
If maybe they're 25 years
yeah,
old each,
yeah.
not one's 53, but that like the Lakers built this team like they were going to play the Celtics every single round in the playoffs. Like we need perimeter defenders, and they just forgot that they're in the West, where the West is much deeper than the East.
It's gonna be hard when LeBron turns 63 next year. I don't know what they're gonna do.
Good God.
What if I told you this?
I like the what if I told you.
What if I told you that now just listen to the words I'm saying. Don't think
Hold
about
on. What if I told you that the Cavs are about to close out the series being up by 60?
Jesus Christ. Cavs are a train. In a vacuum,
Mm-hmm.
you have 2 teams playing in a series. After 4 games, the series is tied 2-2. Your team is coming back home to play of the last 3 games, 2 home games. You would feel pretty good about that situation.
Depending
2-2,
on who won game 3.
2-2. You who won game
Sorry,
3?
who won game 4? That's the one.
You just won game 4, going back home, tied 2-2, and you have 2 more home games left. You feel pretty good about that, yeah? What if I also told you that your point differential in the series is -33 and your only wins is on a buzzer beater in overtime? On paper, if you didn't have any context to the series,
You'd think that the Clippers are whooping their ass.
you would feel good about the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah.
Just knowing you're just 1 game 4, you're going back home, it's tied 2-2, you have 2 more home games. This should be a sweep. But some godforsaken reason, this series is tied 2-2.
I don't know how. But we said it. We said this was going to be the best series of like it just happens to be either a 1-point game or a 70-point blowout. Like, what are the chances of that? So Kawhi is quietly turning
He's been the
back the
best
clock.
player on the court.
Yeah, like it's crazy to see. But it's not like he's a top 75 player of all time. So it's like it's not that it can't. It's just we talked about health. If the Clippers are healthy, scariest team in the NBA. It's just what it is when you have a two-way defender that can put up 60 if he wants to, and Kawhi and James Harden who can turn back the clock a little and get into his bag. He's got the secondary piece that he's needed when he was in Houston, being a Hall of Famer.
He's the secondary piece.
Well, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know.
While he's doing his thing, I'm not calling Kawhi secondary by any means, but he's got another. He doesn't have a Chris Paul. He doesn't have a Russell Westbrook. He's got Kawhi fucking Leonard. Like
That
he's
team's
the best
so
teammate.
Good. And they got low-key Zubac, probably all NBA this year potentially.
Zubac is great in the middle. Norman Powell
is almost an all-star. Like seems good.
They're not this. They are a deep team, and they're gonna go as far as Kawhi lets them go.
This team has been dominating the Nuggets, and we could come back next week and be like, damn, I can't believe the Nuggets advanced to the next round. It's insane.
That's just I mean, Jokic is going to go out there and do everything that he can, and he's going to throw up an air ball, and Aaron Gordon's going to catch it for a game-winning dunk.
Speaking of the Lakers running their players to the ground, the Denver Nuggets are doing the exact same things.
They're going 6 deep.
I have to check the numbers from last game, but I swear, I'm pretty sure all of the Nuggets stars are probably around 43 minutes, 44 minutes played each game.
I'll get the number for you while you're talking.
Because if you watch the last game that they won at the buzzer with Aaron Gordon, it wasn't a lob to Aaron Gordon. Like,
it was a shot.
Jokic was just exhausted. Like, he is dead, and he's just throwing a prayer shot at the end of the game that completely misses and finds itself in Aaron Gordon's hands for the dunk.
So they ran, what was that, 5? They ran 9 players. Amongst those 9, Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, and Christian Brown, they played 42 minutes or more.
And we're not even mentioning
this game did not go. This is the non-overtime game, right? Yeah. This game did not go into overtime.
Yeah.
And their starters played 42 or more minutes out of a 48-minute game, while the only person that played more than 10 minutes after that was Peyton Watson. The only reason why he did that was because I think it was Jamal Murray was in early foul trouble. That's the only reason why they had to be like, we can't get him fouled out because he's got to play the rest of the game.
Yeah, and to Shark's point, like, I know a lot of people like to clown on Russell Westbrook, but like they need him at this point. They need the body.
You got to get that. Was it Feast or Famine or the Magic Box?
Magic Box. And this team's banged up. Michael Porter's dealing with a shoulder. Is it a shoulder or wrist injury on his non-shooting side?
You're asking the wrong person. Injury-related news on a team that I don't.
Jamal Murray's been ill.
He's always
not
up,
right.
Yeah.
He's just not right. And Aaron Gordon's got something going on with his back too. So like this team is just wheezing. And God help whatever team advances from this sluggerfest, because they're gonna hit the Thunder next round. I will say if the Thunder get the Nuggets, like night Nuggets, like it's over. But hey, if the Clippers can close them out in 6 and get like an extra day rest, that will be a hell of a series, because I have been on record saying this Thunder team is an absolute train. I think a wagon is the word people use. It's been a wagon. I would be a little nervous against the Clippers just with Kawhi playing at the weight level he's playing and the experience between Kawhi and James Harden versus a younger Thunder team. Again, I think the Thunder are one of the best teams I've ever seen. But when Kawhi gets into that zone, all bets are off.
The only thing that I would say that would not even only one of the things I would say goes against that though is the quick pace that the Thunder play at.
Fair.
You gotta understand, like it's not just like how fast they're scoring. They're playing defense while getting the most possessions in the NBA. So it's like they are going to play fast and they are going to speed you up because of the way that they play defense. I don't know if in the half court that's the style of game that the Clippers play. It falls into their advantage that Jokic is a primary ball handler for the Nuggets because that's a half court offense versus Jalen Williams is out on the break or Caruso is out on the break. Shea's going coast to coast. Oh, wait a minute. The 7-foot unicorn can dribble the ball down the court and dunk if he wants to. So like I think it's just a little different of an animal. Not to say that it still wouldn't cause problems because it being Kawhi, obviously, but I think they would be so sped up that it's something that they wouldn't be used to.
All right, I want to just, for the sake of time, I want to get to the last question, but just a couple quick notes before we get there. Number one, Celtics Magic. I'm a Magic fan. I hate watching my team. The Magic offense is just this. Please, Paulo, please, Franz, score 30 points. I don't know how you're going to do it. Just do it.
It doesn't even matter if he scores 30 points. If nobody else can score, shoot the ball. I'm getting frustrated for you because they choose to not shoot threes.
Terrible,
and
man.
when they do, it looks very, very bad.
That's why they don't shoot threes. They're awful. KCP, probably the worst signing in the offseason. Now, this is probably worse, but this KCP thing is driving me crazy.
Yep.
Knicks Pistons should be 2-2. Shout out Pistons. Great fight. You got screwed last night. Sorry about that no call.
Series too.
The question I want to throw out to you before to end this NBA discussion is bigger injury. And I don't mean like long term, just like more consequential. Jimmy Butler going down for the Warriors or Dame Lillard?
Jimmy Butler. It's Jimmy Butler. I love what Dame Lillard can do offensively. He does nothing for them on defense. Yes, he has some bit of relief for Giannis. Giannis is going to go get 40, 10, and 10. Whoever's on the court, doesn't matter. They lost their identity when they got rid of Drew and Chris Middleton.
Let me rephrase the question. I meant bigger injury. You can take short-term, long-term, whatever. I meant like not worse injury. That's all I wanted to rephrase it.
Not worse. What do you mean?
Like, obviously, Dame's injury is a far worse injury than Jimmy. I didn't mean it like that. Just meant like the
no. I meant team-wise.
Okay, yeah. That's all.
Because I thought this series was over whether Dame returned or not. I thought the Pacers were going to beat the Bucks. That's just part of it.
I'm going the other way.
I said Jimmy Butler's injury is more important.
I'm saying Dame Lillard's injury is more important.
If you're not talking long term, I got to hear this.
I'm talking long term.
You said not long term.
I was trying to clarify. I meant like what's. I didn't mean like what's worse injury.
Different. You said not to do long term because I would have said Dame.
Okay.
Because that it's going to affect Giannis and where he goes. He's going to look at the situation and be like, "Yeah, my bad. I thought you said don't talk about long term."
That's on me. I misspoke. I meant like. Not what's a worse injury, but like what has a bigger impact.
Gotcha. Bigger impact for the team. Yeah, it's 100% Dame because Giannis is going to look at this and go, look, I went out there, played for my country, we lost. Like I went out here and played for my team, we lost. We are 1-8 in our last playoff series since we've won the 2-8. Sorry, since we won the NBA Finals. Like I'm sick of losing, and you're not bringing help in. You're removing help people that I had. Love Kyle Kuzma. He's done shit since he's been on the team. Dame is a great offensive player. He's done shit on defense for them. Like Giannis, like I said, he's going to go out there and get 40, 10, and 10 every single night if he has to. At some point, he's going to be like, this is exhausting. And I said this, I think it was last year 2 years ago, whenever they brought in Dame, when we were here, I was like, this ain't enough. They're hoping that this helps them when it comes to when he becomes a free agent. Nope. This injury, I think, is cementing him being like, I love Milwaukee. I'm glad you guys gave me my opportunity, my break, and I'm glad we were able to win a championship here. I need to do what's best for me. And he earns it. He deserves it. He's not somebody that I would call a ring chaser. He's somebody I'd be like, what more can I get out of this team? I can't. I gave you guys everything that I had, a championship first time in 60 years, and you're surrounding me with dog shit. I'm out.
Yeah, I think short term, obviously, the injury to Butler is pretty major because I think the Warriors can make a run to the conference finals.
Dog, Steph is doing Steph things, but we'll go ahead, keep talking Bucks.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Let me finish real quick. Like they could beat the Rockets, and then they would draw the Timberwolves next round. If Butler's back, all bets are off. Like I can see the Warriors going to the conference finals, and who knows at that point. As far as like long-term implications, you're absolutely right, and I think you nailed it because this team, the Bucks, they're in cap hell right now.
Oh yeah,
between Giannis, Dame, and Brook Lopez makes a shit ton of money. Like you're basically going to have a max sheet with just Giannis next year. What are you going to do? And they weren't even good enough with Dame. They were a 5 seed with Dame, right? this is going to blow up the team. I don't know what's going to happen. Like, will Giannis ask to leave? But you're going to have to pull this thing apart. And I don't know what the Bucks are going to look like at the start of next season at this point.
The writing was on the wall when the owner sold the team. What was it, 3 years ago?
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute. We got our championship. This is the highest that we're going to be. I'm out. And Giannis.
Hey, look at the Celtics who just like that. They're like, my guy's just like, yeah, I won championship. I'm out.
Wick was like, let me get my bread and dip. I mean, look, it sucks because it's a superstar that is going to. He wants to play for his team. We've heard him say it. I want to be a Buck forever. But at some point, you got to look at the GM and the owner and be like, look, man, I'm not going out there and ruining my legacy of losing, because he's not. He's not a loser. He's a dog. He's one of a dying breed.
Hear me out.
Oh, boy.
Hear me out. Let me find my thing.
There it is.
D, what has
Stop.
been the long-standing rumor in the NBA regarding Giannis Antetokounmpo?
He's going to New York.
D, when the New York Knicks fizzle out poorly against the Boston Celtics this year, change must happen. Mikal Bridges. Who else we can send out? OG Anunoby.
Everybody. Cat.
Oh. Karl Anthony Towns. Mikal Bridges for Giannis Antetokounmpo. New York, baby, it's back.
Send him to the fucking Lakers. Send LeBron's bum ass to the fucking Milwaukee Bucks to end his career.
Man, I cannot wait to see these playoffs play out and to meet back next week, then win the Orlando Magic, come back and take out the Celtics in 7.
3-1, baby, 3-1.
All right, let's transition to our closing takes to get out of here, because honestly, an hour and a half is not bad for all this NFL talk.
For what we had today, I think we covered a lot. Good timing, good stuff.
We could have kept going, but we're being responsible.
The show is coming to an end. But first, it's time to get to anything we've missed. It's closing time. 1 segment, 2 takes. Now go.
All right, closing takes, the opportunity for me and D to get off one last take before we exit the show for the day. D, I'm going to throw it out to you, buddy. I have a pretty, not sad, but, not a happy closing take. So do you want me to go first or second?
Go ahead so I can lift the spirits up.
All right, wonderful. I'll make myself big on this. I want to bring us to the diamond and talk some baseball. I don't know if you saw, D, the story that came out 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago about Red Sox outfielder Jarren Duran.
Mm-mm.
All right, so he was a All-Star last year, a big Red Sox prospect. Obviously, baseball is a really tough sport. It's a grind to get to the major leagues. It's a grind to just be on a major league roster, let alone be an all-star. So 3 years ago, he was a top prospect for the Red Sox. He was having a tough go at it, and the man tried to take his life and failed. He put the gun to his head, and the gun pulled the trigger. The gun did not go off. And it was just a wake-up call for him, and he got some help. He just kept grinding and improving his mental health. Eventually makes to the major leagues, becomes a all-star. This is a documented thing that came out. It was in a documentary. Well, 2 weeks after the story breaks, didn't take long. We talked on this show before about fans acting a fool and being a jackass. Red Sox played the Cleveland Guardians 2 nights ago, and a fan wanted to be a heckler and was heckling Jarren Duran. And the quote, he told Jarren Duran that he should have killed himself when he had the chance. Fuck that guy. Fuck fans acting a fool. And shout out to the people in Cleveland, because you know what they did, the other fans?
Kicked him out.
Grabbed his ass and held him down until security grabbed him.
Good.
I am just so sick of people just acting like athletes and people that are on screens are not real human beings and just not using any common sense, D. That is my closing take. It wasn't a happy one. Whoa, that's loud. But I want to bring that story up to life.
Yeah, tough. Obviously, I end the show the way that I do because of stuff like this. Be a friend, say something nice. You never know what it could do for someone. Just tough, right? I'm glad that he's still here. Glad that those fans. I hope they whooped his ass. That's something that is ass whoop worthy. At the end of the day, even if you get kicked out, it's for the better cause. Like,
Oh, the guy tried running away from the security, and
I hope they whooped his ass. I'll have to go look at the video. But no, good. I mean, I'm glad that he's trying to do better. Obviously, as a human being, it was a dark place, but glad that he's able to climb out of that. That being said, a little bit more on the positive side. I'm going with my guy Jimmer Range. Jimmer Fredette announced his official retirement from basketball. Granted, not the best NBA career, but for everybody that was a basketball fan, we all knew what he did back in BYU. We all knew that he was Steph Curry before Steph Curry. Not saying that he's just as or even better than Steph Curry, but the shots that dude took in the March Madness tournaments in regular season was just, it brought fans to the game. There were people that were just yelling Jimmer Range, like that was a thing. As soon as you crossed half court, you could pull up and pull a three. And I wish his career was a little bit better. Heard he wasn't the best on defense. But the fact that he had a phrase named after him just showed how good he was. So enjoy your retirement. You're always going to be accepted in the hood. Like we appreciated what you did for the game. And I hope that everything works out well for him, because a good to great career in college, not the best in the pros, but he dominated them Shanghai Knights. I'll tell you that. That boy was always putting up 70 a game over in China.
I mean, you got to get that bread somehow. He actually played in the first ever Olympic 3-on-3 tournament for the men's.
Nice. How do you do?
They didn't medal.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the 3-on-3 team for you.
It's Jimmer.
How did we do with the flag football thing? Like, we sent high schoolers.
That is going to be in 2028.
Okay, the next one? Okay.
Yeah, LA 2028.
Crazy.
Yeah, they're getting rid of the breakdancing. We're doing
damn.
So
they're not bringing back my girl Reagan?
Nah. I was thinking we could try out for the breakdancing next time.
We need to submit the everyman Olympic things, because like it'd be dope if they let's put like, hey yo, let's see who can push the grocery cart the closest to the carriage container area. That'd be a dope one.
We'll film it. We'll get some people to film it. We'll put it together.
Might have to do something like that.
All right, D. Good show. Great talk. A lot of NFL, a lot of basketball. Get us out of here, man.
Hell of a show. Appreciate you guys being here. Yo, those that were in the chat, those that are listening tomorrow, those that are just watching, contribute if you can. We love it. We like to show you guys that are, having a good time, especially when you can contribute to us what we're saying. Please make sure that y'all hit us up on all of our socials that you can find us, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, your boys on Twitch, @Frizzy_Frizz5. You can find us on our website, frizzandthegrizz.com. We no longer have the X, but we are on Bluesky or Blue Sky, whatever it's called. Next day, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you can find your podcasts. Please make sure, especially with what we were able to bring up in our last closing takes today, be a friend, say something nice. You never know what it could do for someone. It's almost the summertime, y'all. I know I get my ass to the gym, thankfully. Please make sure y'all take care of y'all mentals. Make sure y'all take care of y'all physicals. Take care of y'all chicken. Take care of y'all children. And we'll catch y'all on the rebound. Peace.